Hello guys! Here is a small story about how I had to remove my mother-in-law, Rita, from my life. My name is Jasmine, and the rest of the people here are my husband, Dean, and sister-in-law, Tina. I won't bore you with the details of how crazy my mother-in-law is. By the time I married Dean, she already had 2 divorces. Along with that, she had a plethora of other relationships. Dean and Tina's dad was her first husband, who left specifically because of her psychotic attitude. The same story goes for the second one. In fact, all of her relationships ended because of her behaviour. Dean and Tina always resented Rita because of her horrible behaviour. She often abandoned and neglected them to spend time with her then boyfriends. When Dean and Tina turned 13, they decided to move in with their dad permanently. Rita threw a fit just because she didn't want to lose out on child support payments. That's the kind of person she is. In general, she can be very entitled and demanding, so she has lost all her friends and even a lot of family members. Hell, even I stayed away from her because of her nasty personality. She always made me feel unwelcome and often said that I was no one to her. She actually destroyed my wedding cake that I made myself simply because she was jealous. I'm a professional baker and it hurt a lot to see it ruined. We almost cut contact with her multiple times but decided to give her more chances. That was until she decided to have a 3rd wedding. Yes, Rita roped some innocent man into marrying her. Dean, I and Tina were only happy that Rita finally found someone. To be honest, at the beginning, we all had a positive attitude towards the wedding and were legit excited about it. That was until Rita showed up at my house to drop a bombshell. I was alone and Rita didn't even say that she was coming. Anyway, we talked about the wedding and her fiancé for some time before she surprised me with the most ridiculous conversation ever. She said, "I was hoping to make it clear that you were not invited to the wedding. It's going to be a very private affair, so I only want important people there. Dean will come, of course, but they won't." Why, Rita? Did I do something to upset you? Well, you are not family. You're just married to my son, and we all know marriages often end in divorce. My wedding pictures will stay with me for a lifetime, so I don't want pictures of people who would even be in life permanently. Okay, I guess. If you don't want me at the wedding, I won't come. Is that all? No, there is something more we need to talk about. Here, I have sorted out some pictures for you. You can take a look at these and find some inspiration for the wedding cake. What wedding cake, Rita? I don't understand. Are you dumb or something, Jasmine? Of course, this is about my wedding cake. I'm giving you some ideas about what I want. Isn't that what people do when they need a cake? Yes, that's what they do, but why are you sending me these pictures? What will I do with these? You should be sending this to your baker. Well, you are my baker, so I am giving you the samples. Make sure you follow these ideas only. I don't want you to use too much of your imagination. Wait, so you want me to make you your wedding cake? So am I invited to the wedding then? How slow are you, Jasmine? I already told you that you are not invited. My wedding will be a private event with family only, so you won't be invited. Yes, you read that right. This woman didn't invite me to her wedding, but still expected me to make her a cake. If I was actually invited to her wedding, making her the cake wouldn't have been a problem for me. However, she straight up said that I wasn't her family and wouldn't get an invite. Hell, she didn't even invite me to her last wedding. Still, I had the courtesy to make her the cake. She got away that time because I was not yet married to Dean and didn't mind not getting an invite, but this time it was starting to bother me. Instead of outright saying no, I tried to see exactly what Rita expected of me. I said, "Well, these wedding cakes look really complex, Rita. The minimum here has 6 tiers in total. With all this work being intricate design, it'll cost you well over $1,000. Who cares about how much it costs? This is what I want, and I didn't ask you for your opinions. You will make it in 6 tiers and add all the sugar work too. Don't slack off and hand me a bad cake. I won't tolerate it." If you're dead set on this type of cake, then so be it. But we will need to discuss all the flavours and final details before I can quote a price. Who says I'm paying for the cake? Why the hell would I pay for the cake since you are the one making it? You have gifted a lot of people in the family a nice gift for their special occasion. Now it's my turn to have a free cake. Every time I thought Rita wouldn't get any worse, she did. This woman was absolutely insane. She literally demanded that I make her a big, fat wedding cake. If you want to know what kind of cake she wants, just Google the details with the price point. That will show you. Those pictures had sugar flowers, glitters, a big cake topper made of frosting, and some really intricate patterns on every tier. A professional would easily charge her over $1,000 for that huge cake, but Rita wasn't going to pay me a single penny. She wanted the cake for free. Look, I made cakes for everyone in the family when they had a special occasion. However, I was invited to the event and those cakes would be priced at under $300, even by a professional. So I had no idea where Rita got the idea that I would make her such an expensive cake while not even getting an invite. I said, "So, you want me to make you a cake for free while I don't even get an invite to your wedding? What kind of entitlement is this? You've already made everyone around you a free cake for their wedding. As my daughter-in-law, you should be making me one as well. My son is already giving me a gift, but that doesn't mean you can slack off on your duties. You need to make me this cake and do it just how I want." Fine. If that's what you want, I will do it. You're right. I do have some serious responsibilities since I am your daughter-in-law. Don't worry, I'll do my best to make sure this cake turns out to be perfect. Guys, if you think I gave in to her ridiculous demand, you are wrong. To be honest, her entitlement really threw me off at first. But then, as she kept talking about how it's my duty to make her a cake for free, I lost it in my head. I really wanted to teach her a lesson. I simply couldn't resist the urge to do it. Rita thought she could make a joke of my generosity and demand whatever she wanted. All these years, she never appreciated my cakes and didn't even like them. But now she magically wants me to make her wedding cake. Why? Because she thinks I'll give it to her for free. And she didn't just want any wedding cake. She wanted me to labour for days and make one of the most complex cakes to exist. Plus there was this fact that I would be literally out of $1,000 for someone who doesn't even call me family. If Rita thought that I would allow this to happen, she was wrong. She was in for a big surprise. First, I talked to my husband, who had no idea about this glorious conversation I had with Rita. When he was home from work, I approached him and said, "Hey, Dean. Your mum stopped by today. We had a very weird conversation about her wedding." "Oh, what did you discuss? Did she invite you for wedding shopping?" "You have way too much hope for your mother, Dean. She told me that she wants me to make a wedding cake. I estimated the costs, and it comes to $1,000 with my special discount." "Whoa, that is a very expensive wedding cake. Mum never had a cake of more than $300. I guess her fiancé is footing the bill on this one?" There's the thing, Dean. She expects me to make the cake for free, and she doesn't want me to come to the wedding. Dean looked stunned by what I told him. Seeing his very confused expression, I decided to give him the details of my conversation with Rita. Dean was given all the details and looked pretty mad by the end of it. He never thought that his mum could stoop so low and have no regard for her actual family. I said, "Look, Dean, I know she's your mum and all, but this is too much. I don't think I ever want to be around her anymore. I've tried pretty hard to have a relationship with her, but she doesn't understand anything beyond her boyfriend and her children." God, Mum really did go very far for this one. All these years I tolerated her and forgave her neglectful behaviour, but today she's insulted you. I don't think I can forgive that either. Listen, I'm pretty mad at what she's done. I have a plan to get back at her wedding, just like she did at ours. She didn't consider my feelings back then. I don't think I should either. Do you think it will take things too far? You know what, Jasmine? Go ahead. I won't show up at the wedding anyway. I'm already tired of coming second to her, even though I am her own child. She outright said that my family is not her family. You don't owe her anything, and neither do I. Do what you want as long as it's not illegal. With Dean's permission, I went ahead with my plan. It's not like I had to work very hard for it. I took my sweet time to take my revenge. I made all the preparations and spent a little bit of money as well. I didn't mind, since Rita's expression would be my well-deserved payment. I also informed Tina about what I had planned. I decided to give Tina a call before this. Before I could get a word in, she said, "Please don't tell me she's done it to you too." What do you mean, Tina? Are we talking about your mum? Who else could it be? Of course I'm talking about Mom. That crazy woman didn't invite my husband to her wedding. Something about how he's not family and all that nonsense. I'm freaking shaking with anger. Oh my God. She didn't even invite your husband. Here I was thinking I'm special and the only one she hates. Look, like she just hates everyone in general. I don't know about your husband, but she still had a special request from me for the wedding. Wait, what? She didn't invite you but still wants you to work for her wedding? That's very typical of her. What demand does she have from you now? So, your mother asked me to make her a 6-tier wedding cake with intricate sugar flowers, and she wanted me to do it for free. What the hell, Jasmine? Please tell me you told her off and laughed at her ridiculous demand. No, I actually agreed to make her the cake. Don't worry though. The cake will be just perfect for her entitled self. Do you want to hear what I have in mind? Of course, Jasmine. I almost had a heart attack when you said that you would make her the cake. Now I'm curious to know what you are planning to do. Tell me now! I told Tina the amazing plan I had in mind. She had a good laugh about it and promised not to tell anyone. From what we had all planned, the day of the wedding was going to be glorious. Dean and Tina's husband were also informed about the plan, and we all laughed our hearts out at it. Rita's wedding cake was truly going to be epic. The day of Rita's wedding arrived pretty fast. She was a mad mess and screamed at everyone who talked to her. She did have a rehearsal dinner, but none of her family was invited to it. I guess she wanted to save some money by not feeding her side of the family on that day. On the morning of her wedding, I got a screaming call from Rita. She said, "Where the heck are you and my son? I've been waiting here since this morning. None of my family has arrived. When are you going to bring the cake? I know it needs time to set up. You better not have forgotten about it." "We are on our way, Rita. The cake is with us in the car. We'll set it up nicely in the reception area. You won't have to lift a finger for that." "Good. I don't have time to waste on you right now. You better set up the cake and leave after I come and dismiss you. I don't want uninvited people roaming around at the venue." "You got it, Rita. I will set up the cake and wait for your signal to leave. You don't have to worry about the cake and me at all." I laughed a little before hanging up on Rita. Meanwhile, Dean, who heard the conversation, was already fuming. No, he wouldn't be attending the wedding. He simply wanted to make a statement by leaving with me. Tina was also in the car with us alone. She wanted to see the look on Rita's face when she saw the cake. We were just going to the wedding for laughs. We got to the venue and set up the cake. By then, Rita had already put up her wedding dress and done her makeup. She was having a very short ceremony, so she didn't have to hurry for that. Besides, after 3 marriages, I doubt she had any interest in the actual vows and ceremonies anymore. Rita briskly walked up to us with some of her bridesmaids. And by some, I mean 2. Like I've said, she doesn't have any friends. Those 2 were her new sister-in-laws. To be honest, they didn't look very pleased with Rita. I can only imagine what she put them through. Rita looked happy and radiant as she walked up into the reception area. But her face soon changed to a look of horror as she saw the cake. Now let me tell you what the cake actually looked like. Yes, it was 6 tiers and had beautiful flower decoration, but it was mostly made of styrofoam. Only the top layer was cake, since I felt bad for the guests. Rita could easily tell that the rest was styrofoam, but what made her eyes bulge out with surprise was the writing on the cake. The message written on the cake read, "Hope this one lasts longer than a year." As soon as Rita processed the words, she screamed. She started to throw a fit and said, "How dare you do this, Jasmine? You intentionally humiliated me. This is insane. That's not even a cake. I can see that the cake is completely fake." Now, Rita. I did make the top tier completely out of cake. That's exactly the size of cake that I can give to my family for free. I shouldn't have given you that as well, since in your head I'm not family, but I felt bad for your wedding guests. You witch! You destroyed my wedding cake and you have written vile things on it! How could you do this to me? Relax, Rita. Just a good wish for your new life. It's true that none of your weddings last more than a year. I'm simply wishing you a better marriage than those. You devil, I will sue you. This is not what I wanted. You have cheated me. I'll tell everyone what a horrible baker you are. How do you think you can sue me, Rita? You don't have a contract to show. You don't even have any verbal recording of our deal. Plus, this is what any baker will give you for free, even though they would have charged you for the top tier and the styrofoam. I guess Rita didn't appreciate my jokes at all. She started to cry and scream at me. She also called me a lot of colourful names that made me laugh. Her bridesmaids looked really concerned by her outburst. They were exchanging worried looks. When Rita saw that she was the only one berating me, she looked for some backup. She said, "Dean, don't you have anything to say to your wife? She freaking humiliated me. Tina, you should be mad at Jasmine instead of laughing like a lunatic." I don't have anything to say to Jasmine, Mum. I do have a lot to say to you. I put up with your horrible behaviour for years without complaint. I always thought you would change, but your sense of entitlement just got worse. You had this coming, Mum. You deserve it. I think so too. I only showed up to see your expression, Mum. I had no interest in being anywhere where my husband is not considered family. Jasmine gave you what you deserve. Rita then started to scream at all of us while her bridesmaids ran off to get her fiancé. Rita was seriously getting very unhinged and shouting nonsense at us. Her facade of being a kind and loving lady disappeared pretty quickly. She kept shouting at us while no one took her side. All her guests didn't show up to the wedding anyway. Since she didn't have any friends, her guest list was just made of her family members. Any guesses why they didn't show up? Well, before the wedding, people did ask me if I was going to the wedding. Turns out Rita excluded quite a lot of family members since they were spouses, so a good bunch of people were very pissed at her. Dean and I discussed the issue with the rest of our family, and everyone secretly decided not to attend. So, Rita goes mad in front of the guests and her fiancé looks very uncomfortable with the situation. Me, Dean and Tina decided that it was time to head out. We leave while Tina turns on her fiancé who is trying to calm her down. The aftermath of what happened is equally satisfying. Apparently Rita did get married that day, but they had to annul their marriage a month later. After her new husband saw what kind of harpy Rita was, he decided to call it quits. I don't know what she did, but he actually got a restraining order against her. This meant that Rita was in more trouble now. None of us were talking to her while she begged us for money and a place to stay. Her soon-to-be ex-husband number 3 was kicking her out, and she left her job beside the marriage. No one wants to help her out because of her behaviour.